Hey, what's up, boils and ghouls? We are back for a little bit of spooky season. We're going to start talking about some of these movies they're watching. If you guys missed it, we announced all the movies we're going to be watching, so we're going to try to review each one of those as we go along, the old and the new, and those that might not even be released yet. I don't know. Hopefully they're going to come out in time for us to watch them over the season. But we're going to begin with Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho in 1960, obviously, written and directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Some might say you might have heard of him a little bit. So, Psycho, 1960. When was the last time you saw this movie?
In total, in college. It was actually the first time I had seen it.
So what years were you in college?
Do we have to say such things?
So it's been a while.
What kind of Fright Fest is this?
I was in high school the last time I saw it, and that was in the 90s. The first time I saw it, I was about 8, and it freaked me out. It freaked me out just a little bit, and I'm happy to say I feel like it still holds all of those things that freaked me out a little bit. So, I mean, you fell asleep. Because, guys, that's what she does. She falls asleep during movies. But
we waited really late.
I believe her words were, I've seen it before. So this was actually the first on my oldest son's list of movies to pick. And I'm happy to say he liked it. He stayed engaged the whole time. You know, you never know. You never know. He starts playing with the dog. He starts running, getting water, and all that. So you can tell
there's a risk there with the black and white, and it's kind of a slow start, which I think both of us kind of were like, wait a second, I didn't remember it
starting like that. You know, but hey, you can show me Janet Leigh all day. I'm fine with that. I'm Janet Leigh without a shirt on. That's how it started. It's like I don't remember it being this risque in 1960. Whoa, that was risque, right? You know, it really, really was. And there's people in like an extramarital affair. I was just like, wow, this is cutting edge stuff in 1960. So. It wasn't just, the very famous shower scene. There was lots of boundaries being pushed by Hitchcock here. But, I mean, the guy was a visionary, clearly. And I think this is probably his most famous movie. If it's not this, The Birds. But I think this is probably his most famous movie, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think so. Because I think that even, like, my mom, who wouldn't touch horror with a 1,000-foot pole, even she knows.
Yeah,
you
don't have to watch the movie to know the pop references, but I did want to make sure Brennan had seen it. That way he has his classic repertoire.
I mean, I think, again, if you're alive, you've seen the shower scene in Psycho parodied by something, probably.
Everything.
I mean, I think The Simpsons and Family Guy and South Park and all those have done it. I feel like if those three do it, everybody's done it at that point. But with this, I didn't want him. He didn't know the big twist ending yet.
Yeah.
And I felt like, okay, we got to show this to him now, because once he figures out the twist, he's going to be like, what the hell? And I'm happy to say he was quite surprised when it happened. And for me, that ending is still like the most tense. That the final 10 minutes are like some of the most tense stuff I've ever seen in film. And it still holds it, because when you get all the way from the reveal of Miss Bates to when Norman runs in that last time, freaking goosebumps, man. It still creeps me the hell out, even at this age. So yeah, at 8, it really freaked me out. And I'm happy to say, at 46, it still freaks me the hell out. So does that ending still really get you as much as it gets me?
Well, again, I was asleep, but that twist was, it's artfully played. It's great cinema.
It is great cinema.
Something I didn't remember, but definitely was stuck in my head for the next couple of days, was the theme. I didn't remember the theme being such an earworm.
This is, without a doubt, the greatest horror soundtrack of all time. It's not even close. This blows everything away. Things still try to... I remember that movie, what was it, the Jordan Peele one that came out, Us? Is that what it's called? Where they have, the alternate world? It tried to do, the strings exactly like Psycho. I mean, this has just been copied for years, and it's just so good. It's aged so incredibly well. And, I mean, even parts of the movie where it's like, this shouldn't feel this tense, but that soundtrack really, really does make it feel that way. So just so good. So good. But I think there was something funny that you said about this, was that you didn't remember the actor playing Norman was handsome. Yeah.
Yeah, in my memory, I guess I had made him more of just kind of a creeper and less attractive. And I'm watching it and I'm like, he's not a bad-looking guy.
Okay.
But I guess my knowledge about him kind of tainted my perception or my memory of him.
Most stuff like this I usually go into it being like, okay, let's see. Okay, that was great for the time. Let's see how poorly some things have aged. But this, I feel like some stuff, like you can see, like when the guy gets stabbed and he's like falling down the stairs. It's like, yeah, it looks kind of, I don't know, fake, but I think it kind of helps with the aesthetic of this movie. That's the way that it looks. It just kind of fits the mood with it, so it doesn't really feel like that to me. You know what I'm talking about?
I was saying, yeah, I know what scene you're talking about. I didn't think it looked fake necessarily.
Well, I'm thinking if you got stabbed at the top of the steps, you're not reeling back without falling.
Yes, there is kind of.
But he might have just had amazing footwork
there, yeah.
So I mean, it's just like at the time they weren't really doing. I was actually saying I was actually amazed because there's James Bond movies that came out at the same time that had the pre-recorded background when they're driving, and it didn't look like it was that. It looked like it was really had a car, a camera mounted to the front of the car. So just a technological wonder. I think this movie is aged so damn well, and if it can still get me the same way it did when I was 8, and it can get a younger generation like my kid who just is like, this is stupid, or usually it's oh, this is black and white,
and then immediately shut it down. But he was down.
He was into it. I mean, even at the beginning, he was kind of like, yeah, getting on the lam for that much money, that's kind of stupid. You're making some dumb mistakes here, Leigh. But not just the the technological side, but I'm saying like a lot of the themes and the ideas, and obviously 1960 was a much different world than it is now. And just saying that a lot of things that have aged, differently. Obviously, women standing in society is going to be a little different. Like where she goes and tries to buy the car, and they're like, basically like, "Where's your husband?" And I'm just like, "How'd that make you feel?"
Oh, that whole first scene where the guy's leaning on her desk and talking to her.
Oh God! Yeah, he claims that she was flirting with him.
Yeah. In your dreams, buddy. In your dreams.
Sometimes I have to say, in 1960, it had to be exhausting to be a woman. It really had to, if that's really an attractive woman like Janet Leigh was. But that shower scene, can you believe that they got away? Like the whole thing about that was like you could not show the blade puncturing the skin, and since it was black and white, you could show blood because it wasn't red. That was that's how they got past the censors there. Can you believe that scene is still so messed up without actually showing stab wounds? I don't know, something about it's just amazing cinematography that doesn't show any breasts or anything. It's amazing how they do that whole shot.
There was definitely some angling going on. And it's the kind of the same thing with Jaws, where your imagination somehow makes it worse.
I think
like
so.
showing it is just it's there, but leaving it up to your own mind. Bleh.
Yeah, I thought that my kid was going to figure out the twist ending because remember we were watching Sixth Sense and we're like, did he figure it out? But he didn't. He came close. I thought he had figured it out.
Yes, there was a minute there.
At one point he went like, "'Cause you're dead." And I thought he was talking. Oh my God, has he figured it out? But with this, I don't think he had any clue. And like at the end, I looked over at him because I'm just like watching his reaction. He's like. Actually, what he said was, "I am Ms. Nesbit." And I couldn't stop laughing. If you guys seen Toy Story as many times as we have, you know why that's funny. But yeah, it's just amazing. This movie's aged incredibly well, and it's one of those. I think it's just preserve the film. I mean, if you're ranking this, preserve the film. I think it already has, obviously.
Beautiful, just crisp picture, quality soundtrack, timeless storytelling.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's a classic. There's a reason.
Sometimes I like to leave stuff like this in my nostalgia because I'm afraid it won't age well. Not with this one, man. This is aged great. So she has a rating scale for scary movies, and we're going to kind of stick with that. So first is just your star rating out of 5 is what she's going to do.
So,
you want to explain?
Quality movie, like how good of a movie it is. It's a 5 out of 5.
Okay, so I was explaining your rating system.
Oh, okay.
So she uses stars just to rate the movie, but for spooky season, she adds a pumpkin meter, which is out of 5, which is how scary the movie is. So I would go 5 stars for the movie. Obviously, it's one of the greatest movies ever made. I mean, it's a movie at the top of most horror lists, probably. And I'd probably go 4 on the pumpkins because to me, it doesn't have to be, oh my God, I'm covering my eyes because I'm scared. If you're getting that prickly feeling on your skin, even at my age, it's doing something right. And like I said, there's not very many movies that have me that tense at the end of it. So I'm saying, 4 out of 5 on the pumpkins.
I'm going to do a 3 out of 5 on the pumpkins.
It scares me more than her, and she's a big scaredy cat. How about that?
I'm a big scaredy cat.
Well, maybe if you say it awake, you would have gave it, at least another half pumpkin.
Next
one. A half pumpkin.
Well, trust me, I was turning all the lights on to go upstairs because I didn't want anyone popping out of doorways.
I will say, like after that, the next I was like, man, if I went to bed right now and some dude ran in a dress, I might freaking flip out. So yeah, it's a great movie, and that ending is just an all-timer. If you've gotten that far without actually like ever being spoiled with it, man, that's got to be us. Because you actually had been spoiled before you saw it the first time.
Yeah, no, I knew all the pop culture references. I knew. Yeah,
it's just good. Great stuff. So.
And it was still a great movie to see, and still, a great twist to watch unfold.
How many other Hitchcock movies have you seen?
Maybe just a handful from start to finish. Yeah.
It's like 1A, 1B with the birds for me. But again, I don't know how much this is like in my nostalgia, because I thought this one I was going to watch it and be like, it hasn't aged that well. But the birds, now I'm like scared to watch the birds. The bird's going to be as freaky as I remember it. I don't know.
I watched a lot of the show, the Hitchcock Theater. That was my jam.
We watched that and Perry Mason back to back. I'm really, really showing my age right now.
That's an interesting pairing where they just airing back to back? Like they were
Yeah,
on? Okay.
yeah. I think it was Nick at Night at the time. I think it was Perry Mason, and then once it got really late, it was Hitchcock, and then Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I would say Hitchcock
yeah.
and Twilight Zone. That's my jam.
All right, so guys, Psycho. If you thought it was less than 5 stars, drop in the comments. Let us know. Let us know what you would rate it on the pumpkin meter.
Where did it go wrong?
Yeah, what did you not love about this movie? Because I really genuinely am curious. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll talk to you down below.